Yo, what's up? Good morning. So I got two videos for you today. I accidentally forgot to turn on the microphone, so there was no voice audio. So what I'm gonna do is talk about Verdansk, because I've been wanting to make a video talking about Verdansk. Didn't really know how I was gonna do that, so this gives me a little small chance just to sit here and talk to you while this gameplay plays in the background, you know? I also don't know what day this is gonna come out. To be honest, I schedule everything like a month in advance. That's why you never see me talk about current topics in Call of Duty or Warzone, because I just record the gameplay, get about 2 videos per day of content, and then I just upload that and just keep uploading as I get the content. And then whenever it's a new season, I drop it off. So Verdansk drops on April 3rd, so nothing from this season will be coming out after that. So I have to put a dead stop there and then start recording new content after Verdansk drops on April 3rd, which is going to be awesome. I'm excited for that. I don't know how much time I'm going to have to do that, but we're going to try to push through and make it work. First thing I want to talk about is how they said that they're going to cut off Warzone completely if the numbers don't do well and if we don't see more users coming back after Verdansk. The main problem I have with this is because if anybody remembers, the reason why we left Warzone 1 and just said screw it, we gotta start over. I just keep saying we, but like Call of Duty, you know what I'm talking about. The reason why we said that we need to start over is because they started integrating too many new games into it, and it kept getting buggy and more sluggish, and like you could see it in the gameplay with the frames. You're getting less frames during the end cycle of Warzone Caldera. So them integrating that many games completely killed that game, and I'll get to why that's a fucking problem. But when Warzone 2 dropped, it was such a different game from Warzone 1, to where you literally had streamers who had tens of thousands of watchers every single day that are now down to 300 a day, like around that area, where they just never recovered. The game was so bad, it pretty much killed a lot of people's careers. You know how ridiculous that is? Now, Warzone 2 could have been a great game if it wasn't Warzone 2. You know what I mean? Because they gave us Warzone 1 with slide canceling. We had the movement that we have now. Now it's clunky compared to what we have now. Warzone 1 is clunky compared to what we have now, but like the bunny hopping is fire. The gunplay was fire because it wasn't jerky. It didn't have all the blur that we have right now. Warzone 1 was amazing for that. I know personally me, I was not a great player. I think my max kills was 18 in that game. I was mouse and keyboard completely. I didn't even touch controller up until I started playing Apex, and that was like through the middle of my life cycle of playing Apex. But yeah, so I didn't record any content for that. I was just starting to get back into gaming back then. But like, instead of taking Warzone 1 and building off of that and trying to make it better, making it less buggy, coding so we get more frames, they scrapped it entirely and went with this more slow, realistic type of gameplay, which we weren't used to. We didn't want. We thought, okay, the next one's going to be faster, the next one's going to be better, it's going to be less clunky. We're going to take what we have now and build on top of it. And no, it lost so many users because of that, so many players, so many people who watch the streamers on Twitch. And then after that, let's go to the Warzone that we're playing right now, when they finally brought back the movement and made it better with Black Ops 6. I love the movement now. I think it's amazing. I think it can be better though, because like it feels a little clunky sometimes, because like you try to slide cancel, and for me anyways, maybe it's just my PC, but it just doesn't, you know. Like it just, or else I just come to a dead stop when I go from sprinting to go to slide, and my god, dude just sits down. I died 3 times. I lost 3 games yesterday to just that, and I wasn't able to get any content because of that. But dead sliding, that needs to go. But the problem with what they did is they did the same thing they did in Warzone 1, where they decide to integrate all these games into the new Warzone. They seen it kill Warzone 1 and then decide to do it again. And then they're getting mad at the player base because they decide to do the exact same fucking thing that killed the first game. That doesn't make any sense to me, dude. So they're threatening to get rid of Warzone because the player base, if the player base doesn't come back with Verdansk, because they decide to do the exact same thing. So everybody's saying that I should go to a standalone game, and I completely agree. I think it shouldn't have anything to do with the mainline games. I think Warzone should be its own thing, kind of like Fortnite, where, you know, where anything that's added to the game is made for Warzone, not just as like a side thought to, oh yeah, we'll just integrate something from this and bring it in so that it ruins the game, gives everybody less frames, makes it more chunky, makes it more clunky. But that being said, on April 3rd, when they do bring back Verdansk, I'm hoping they get rid of all the blur, all the shakiness. Like when you're shooting somebody or somebody's shooting at you, it gets extremely blurry. Like I can't even see it, dude. Like when I'm shooting at people, I have to rely on aim assist, and I feel sorry for anybody playing mouse and keyboard. One, that's where I started, and two, how would they see anything? How would they track anything? I'm lucky because I'm on controller, so it sees things for me, because I can't see shit when I'm in the middle of a fight. And then the blur goes away slowly after you stop shooting, so like, and for me it ruins like a lot of situations where like you're trying to 1v4 and you try to make those quick plays. Like I have managed to do it, but it's a big pain when you can't fucking see anybody. Like I turn, I'm like, oh okay, that's like a pillar or something like that, and it's a dude, he fucking kills me. It sounds dumb to say, I don't like, but that seems unfair to me, like as somebody who specifically tries to get better. I'm one of those losers that needs to try to be the best at everything I do, and one of these things I do is game. And I don't think I'll ever be like one of the top players, but like I am currently right now the best I've ever been at this game, just because, well, I'll say straight up, once they nerfed aim assist, man, we went from here to me up here. And the reason for that is I'm the only fucking loser on this planet that has been practicing on controller without aim assist for a very long time. So if you're like watching my gameplay and you're like, how do you have aim like that? Well, I practice before I play without aim assist, and then I come into the game and then I have aim assist turned on. So like, if you see me locking on shots, that's why. It's because I'm training myself to lock on shots without aim assist, with just my thumbs. But I do miss a lot of shots. I'm not the best aim. But that's one thing I wanted to do, is like when I get to 100 subscribers, something like that, I want to put out like a little aim training thing where you could do exactly what I did to get better. Because when I first started out, I started playing PUBG around like 1,000 hours. I think I got in this game 1,000 or 2,000 hours on PUBG, and it was pure mouse and keyboard. And like, I was not a great player because I did not know how to train. In my mind, I was like, okay, the more you play, the better you'll get, and that's just not the case. You have to have a practice regime using aim trainers and just different ways how to actually, like, your reaction time plays a lot into it. Your tracking, your eye tracking, so hand-eye coordination plays a lot into it. Like, if you don't have those two, especially reaction time, if your reaction time isn't 140 milliseconds, like if that's the fastest I can do, and you can see how well I can play, but like if yours isn't under 200 milliseconds, you're gonna have a hard time beating anybody, dude, because you don't have to be an amazing player. You don't have to be a 8K player to do what I do, because I'm a 4K player. You have to be a 2K player. That's it. Because you don't have to be able to beat a Jowo or a Booyah. You just have to be able to beat the 1.2 KD players to be able to play well. You know what I mean? It's like the saying that you don't have to be faster than a bear. You just have to be faster than a dude that's behind you. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to be the best. You just have to be better than those guys to be able to do what I do, which is like 30 bombs and stuff like that. Booyah be getting 30 bombs like every goddamn game, and then drops a 40 every once in a while. I'm hoping I get to that at one point, but right now I just don't feel like I'm that guy. I don't feel like I'm that guy. Sorry, ADD, but back to Warzone, just talking about like the bugs. I think the bugs are gonna drive so many people away. Like right now, you know what? I don't know if today I've had that problem, but like picking up plates, just hasn't been a thing for months. I die so many times because like I kill 2 people, run over their bodies and some shit, try to pick up plates, nothing. Then I die a 3rd person because I can't heal or something like that, and it doesn't become a fair fight type of situation. Not picking up plates has been my biggest problem with the game. When people talk about hackers, I don't really actually run into many people. I watch streamers a lot and I see them run into them, but like maybe I'm just not good enough to be put in lobbies where like they put hackers and stuff like that. The people like that are high up there with KDs and stuff. But like I don't get that many walls. Mostly I see people have. I don't see people like rage hacking with aimbot. But that's just my experience. My experience does not dictate that of another. But a lot of people have this idea that so many people are hacking just because somebody beat you doesn't mean they're hacking. It just means that they put in more time practicing. Not saying that you don't run into hackers, but like the vast majority of people aren't hacking. Let's put it like that. I think the saddest thing when I think about Verdansk way back when it first dropped is the excitement everybody had when they played the game. Everybody had their chat on. They were talking, they were goofing around, they were doing all this just obnoxious stuff because the joy of playing the game beat out wanting to win or wanting to be the best player that there is. And that was the best part about Warzone, and I don't think that's coming back. I think Verdansk is going to drop and it's going to stay as serious as it is now, where everybody just wants to be the best. And part of being the best is not having chat on, because then you can't hear footsteps, or because somebody decides they're going to play through the TV, or they're going to throw a white noise on in the background so it covers footsteps when they're coming, when you're trying to push somebody. Like, there's just so many little things that kind of like take the joy out, and that's just personal stuff, you know, like the personal want to be one of the best players, the personal want to be competitive, the personal want to win the match as opposed to have fun. So I really don't see the energy of 2020 Verdansk coming back just because people are so competitive these days. And that's just late stage game in general. Like any game that's been out for a long time, the casuals are eventually going to fall off, and all that's going to be left is the dedicated, want to be the best players ever type of people, you know? Like PUBG, that happened. Apex Legend is going through it right now, believe it or not. I don't play any other games to give examples, but like it happens in every damn game where all the casuals fall away and all you got left is the sweats. And that's what we're at in Call of Duty, and I don't know if that's going to change when they release a new game, or if they make Warzone its own thing, or if gaming in general has just become that, where it's just full of people that want to be the best player that they can be, and there are no casuals that are stacking on top of each other on top of warthogs anymore, like in Halo. Like, I don't know, man. I maybe the energy just shifted in gaming entirely, and we just won't see that ever again. That's depressing to think about. But also with Battlefield coming back, because 2042 apparently murdered Battlefield. I don't know. I didn't buy the game. I didn't like the way that it looked. I was big on Battlefield 3. Battlefield 4, I was like, I didn't really like the map, so like I bought the game, I played it. I didn't like the maps. I just went back to Battlefield 3 and played that instead. But with Battlefield coming out, maybe we might go back to seeing some goofy stuff and all that stuff. But I don't even know what gaming culture is in other games right now. But as far as I can tell, in Warzone, it's really just sweats. And I say that as somebody who like runs into bot players a lot, but like it goes into the situation where somebody hops into a game, and because of SBM, you want to talk about SBMN for a second? Because I don't two-box, I don't use VPNs or anything like that. I'm a 4KD player, and you could watch my gameplay and you can see bots all over the place. I do firmly believe that if they got rid of SBMM there would be less bots in my lobby. If it was just random and they just like threw people in at higher pings, like whatever gives you the, whatever server has the best ping for you is where you go type of situation. I think I would have better players in my lobby than right now with SBMF. To be honest, that's what I think would happen. Not to say that I don't run into sweats a lot, but I run into bots a lot more than I run into sweats. Let's just be honest. And I think the game is built kind of like that. Because, and I was going to explain this part in the aim training video, I am again when it comes around, but I need people to understand something. The lower base of Call of Duty players is a 0.8 KD. The higher, more skilled players are around 1.2 KD. And that makes up the majority of the player base. So at any given time, as like me, a 4 KD, or like somebody that's like an 8 KD, at any given time, we will not be put into lobbies that are filled with people like us that are sweats with 4 KDs and higher. Because there's not enough players with that type of KD on at any given time to fill a lobby like that. Especially when we're not going for pings, we're going for skill base. So let's say it puts me in a game with my KD and then everybody else below me. If you watch my gameplays, my teammates get 1 or 2 kills and that's the best they could do, which is fine. Okay, that's their way of balancing everything. So my lobbies will be mostly made up with 0.8 to 1.2 KD players, and that's the same for everybody else. So when people say, I wish I had your lobbies to streamers or something like that, we all have the same lobbies. Like, we really do. I'm sure, like, I'm sure the people that play together, like when you have 4 streamers that are really good, really high KD players, they probably go against more high KD players because there's a bunch of motherfuckers that are really good playing together. But if it's just like you being lonely playing against randoms and playing with randoms, it probably puts you in that lower bracket. But like, still, see what I'm getting at? Sorry, I have ADD. I'm really bad at talking, but I hope I explained that well. But speaking of skill wise for COD, man, like the main factor that I find is server quality. Not only does Call of Duty have 20 tick servers, I'm pretty sure it is, which other games run at like either 60 or 120 if they're really good. Certain servers are really hit or miss because like I'll be starting a match and I can tell when I'm in a bad server because I'll go to pick up a gun and then I'll click on it and then I'll sit there and then it will pick it up like a few seconds later, and then I notice that with like different movement from other players and myself, like sliding takes a little bit longer, and that's just and my ping looks fine, but then the entire server is just super laggy. And then even on some of the better servers, I find that shots connecting is fucking ridiculous. The amount of bullets it takes to kill somebody on one server is not the same as another, and I personally find that really problematic and unfun. Because when you know how fast it should take to kill somebody and you're just like, why aren't you dying? Why aren't you dying? Why aren't you dying? It gets really fucking irritating, you know what I mean? So that's one of my biggest hopes for this game, because like it feels like the servers are worse than they were in 2010 when I was gaming, dude. Like it really does not feel like we have advanced in that category, even though that our internet has gotten way better. Like back when I was playing Halo, we had 3 megabyte download, and that was really good internet at the time. And now we're playing at like what? Well, I have 300 download, which is not great. That's why I have to quit out of some servers and just go to another one. I don't stream, so you don't see that part. But like some of them I have to just quit out because I'm like, okay, this one's not working for me. But most people are around like 1.5 gig internet, and people with Google Fiber or whatever it's called got like 10 gig internet, and it feels worse than the old games did. Probably because 1, there's more people playing on the server. Two, the movements and inputs are way faster than what they were way back when. Also, we do a lot more in the game, but that should mean that you should upgrade your shit, especially for how much money Warzone gets, because it gets a lot of money. Warzone is a fucking cash cow, and they don't put any money back into it. Maybe it's just gotten to that point where it's just like shareholder this, shareholder that, and they just don't give a fuck about like the actual game and the experience the users have. You know what I mean? But you know what, I might be getting a little off topic. I don't know. I suck at talking. So I hope you have a good night. Thank you for listening to me babble for a little bit, and thank you for everybody who has subscribed so far. I think there's like 43 of you and counting right now, and I appreciate every single one of you, and thank you for watching the videos. Peace.